Do you know someone who is a chronic complainer? I'm sure you do. Maybe that someone is you. We all complain. It's normal. It's part of our human nature to complain about things, especially things that we don't have control over. And let's face it, there's plenty of things to complain about in today's society, in today's world, with all that's going on around us. But how healthy is that, to be complaining all the time? What does that do to your body, both physically and emotionally? It's actually not good. You release stress hormones, which have a negative effect on your physical well-being and, of course, your psychological well-being. Because some people get stuck in frustration and anger, resentment and bitterness. Some people have a ton of depression and anxiety and fear, and they continue to be stuck in their complaining mode. It actually becomes a habit where they complain about everything and everyone. It's not a good place to be. So why do people complain? Well, ironically, people sometimes complain because they think it's a way to bond with others. Like they find other people that maybe have the same mindset as them, and they feel like that's maybe a connection. Sometimes people complain because they want to be heard, they want to be understood, and they feel if they complain often enough that people will listen. And ironically, they don't. People will shut complainers out in a heartbeat. They turn them off. They put the mute button on the complainer. No one likes to hear someone who's chronically complaining about life. Also, people complain to sometimes manipulate or control others, maybe in a way to gain power. But actually, I believe that complainers give up power. They give up that power that they would normally have because they're stuck in misery. That expression, misery loves company, is very true. When you're miserable, you want other people around you that can support you, that can validate your feelings. It's not a good place to be. And unfortunately, a lot of people are stuck. They're stuck in misery and they're stuck complaining. And they feel powerless and helpless. And their complaining keeps them stuck in that position. So what do you do? What can you do? Well, the first thing, I've talked about this before. In order to make a change, you have to take action. You have to have a game plan. You have to generate some solutions. The same for a complainer. Instead of focusing on complaining, focus on a way out. Focus on the things that you can do differently. Sometimes circumstances are such that we can't change our surroundings or our circumstances, but we can cope with them better than maybe we are. And complaining doesn't help us in coping. So the second thing I would encourage you to do is to put it in perspective. Your complaints, don't cry over spilt milk. Is it really that essential? The things that you're focused on or the things you're complaining about. In the big scheme of life, are your complaints an overreaction? Are you catastrophizing things? So put it in perspective. It helps to also use thought stopping, where you visualize a red stop sign in your head and you repeat to yourself, stop, 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 stop. And you replace those complaints, those negative thoughts, with something more constructive, something more positive. You redirect your thinking so that you don't wallow in your misery. The third thing is to replace your complaining with gratitude. What are you grateful for? What are the things that you know that are good about yourself, your life, maybe what you've done in the past, maybe what you have in your life, maybe the relationships, maybe the ways in which you have touched people's lives. Focus on what you're grateful for, rather than the misery and the complaining that keeps you stuck in emotional pain. And lastly, find out what is underneath the complaining. What are the feelings? What are the emotions tied to your complaining? If there's sadness or hurt or anger or frustration, figure that out and be able to articulate and express the emotions, because people respond better when you talk about the feelings than they do just hearing the complaint. People will be more empathetic and supportive and encouraging. So focus on the feelings. But most importantly, figure out and understand that complaining gives up power. And instead of giving up your power, take action, do something about it, and apply some of these strategies that I've mentioned today. Good luck, and decide that complaining is not where you want to be. Until next time, Dr. Tony Ferretti signing out.